All right, so for this lesson now, it's time to build. So as we have learned in the lesson notes, you can either build the motion detection or distance detection using the PIR sensor or the ultrasonic sensor. So I'm going to be testing with the PIR sensor first so we can see how it works. But for this video, the code that is here is for the ultrasonic sensor. Let's go ahead and test the code out. So I'm going to click on display. So it's going to load. All right, so now you can click on the PIR. If you move closer to it, you'll see something here. See, distance is saying 48, 48. So, which is the code that we put there. If it's less than 50, as you can see, if it's see this place, if it's less than 50, you should turn on the light. This is what we are seeing here as the distance is 48.3 centimeters, so it's less than 50. If I drag it up, you can see it's off. If I bring it less than 50, it should come on. Can you say, all right, so this is what we're going to be building into this lesson. So you know how to create a new project and TinkerCAD either by using your personal account or joining a class. So I'm just going to move to the side and rebuild everything over again. So we're going to need the Arduino. You got the Arduino. You're going to need the breadboard. You can see it, so you arrange it on top like this. You're going to need the ultrasonic. So you can search for ultrasonic. So there are two types of ultrasonic. So we are using this one, ultrasonic distance sensor. So the one that has 4 pins, so you put them somewhere here. All right, so you can see, let's zoom in. So you can see I put it on this O. You can choose any O, but just the side is 21 to 24 by the top line here. So then next, I need the LED. So I'm going to put the LED somewhere here. So we are following the design that we have on this page here, as you can see. All right, so let's get started the building. All right, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is we want to connect the power. So to connect the power now, you have to connect it to the positive and negative part of the breadboard. There's a positive and there's a negative. So we connect this right. So this is the PCC for positive. Bring it here, click, then you can change the color to red. Then the negative is this line. So you can choose any of the O on the same line. So bring it to negative here. Change the wire to what? To black. Now I want to connect our tree and the echo. Just like we have learned in our lesson notes, we already have the pin connection in your lesson notes. As you can see on this screen here, you see the trig is going to pin 3 and echo going to pin 2. Right, so that's what we're going to be doing right now. Okay, so trig pin 3 and echo pin 2. So I'll bring it here. We drag it here. And can double click to create a node. Then you can style, make it straight so you can see the straight line. Then create a node again. And I can make this like this as straight as this. All right. You can change the color to orange. Then I do the next one. Pin 2. All right, as you can see. So we have that. Then you can create a node again. So I like making my coordinates. All right. So you can change the color. It also again. All right. So here we go with what we have there. Right. The next thing is I want to power this breadboard with the power from the Arduino. This is the power part of the Arduino. We have it here. The 5 volts and GND. So I'm going to bring the 5 volts here to the positive. And of course, I create my node anywhere. Double click on anywhere in the line. And I can bring it down like this. Okay. Then I double click again and do something to make it straight like this. Then double click again. So I always like to make my line straight. Okay, there. And what color am I going to give it again? Red, exactly. So the red color. So do the same thing for the GND. So we bring this right over here. So you click with your node as usual. I click on that node again and drag over here. Then click on that node. Don't worry, the wires can overlap, but make them neat. But that doesn't affect your connection. So I give this color black. All right, so we're almost done with code. So the last thing I want to connect is the LED. So the LED has positive and negative, which is anode and cathode. If you look at it very closely, this is the positive part. So it's going to pin 13 as stated in our lesson notes. So you can also use your lesson note as your guide. So comes here and make it straight. All right, so I'm going to give it a red color because it's a red LED. And then this goes to the ground, which is the negative part. So I'm still going to use this negative line. So I'm bringing this right here and then make it black. All right, so with this now we are done designing the ultrasonic. Also, you can just follow the same pattern. You can follow the same pattern to build for the motion sensor. You can just pause this video here and follow all the pins. I can see the pins here. Then you can use it to design the PIR part. So now let's move to the code section. So the code has been designed already. So we have, this is the new thing we are building now. So we have to click on this part here to bring the code of this part. So I'll click on this Arduino here. This is the code we are designing. So this is the code we are designing, as you can see here. So you can just duplicate or you bring it on this block here. You can control Z, just control Z. Undo. So these are the codes. Now I'm going to just explain the code so you can understand how the code works. All right. So I'll click on this Arduino. So this is the code here. So I want the serial monitor to be showing me the readings that comes from the pin 2 because the pin 2 is the echo, is what we are reading, is what we is detecting the object. So after that, so I want to read, I want to check the distance that is between both of them. So when I check the distance, and I want to compare if it's less than 50. So if it's less than 50, that if the object towards the ultrasonic is less than 50, then what should happen? Turn on pin 13. So what is connected to pin 13? So it is my LED that is connected to pin 13, as you can see. The LED will be turned on. And we have the else, which means if the case is not true, that means if it is not less than 50, if it is 60 upward, the pin 13 should turn off, which means the LED is going to turn off. I hope with this now you understand. So go ahead, build your own circuit, do the code, and let's test it out again to see everything is still intact. I click on this, then I click on start simulation. So just wait for it. All right, so to test it out, so you click on the ultrasonic sensor. So you have this, and I can see it's 51. The distance is what 51. So I'm going to click on it. So if I bring it down, can you see 40? It's on now. So you can test it with different things. Maybe you can use a buzzer here, make it sound, and you do the code. Like it's, maybe if your buzzer is on another pin, maybe you put it on pin 10. In your code, you can add another digital pin here. Wait, let's say data pin 10 high. So something like that. So experiment with different component, passive component, and let's see what you can get with that. All right. See you in the next video.